Good evening, I am Agus. In this occasion, I will talk about week 5 assignment synthesis of health behavioral assessment to my client, which is a high school teenager. Besides providing the client with the exercise prescription, I need to make sure that he will adhere or stick with the program that we have. That's why this is very important to set it before we design the program. If you look back at the chapter 12, there are around 6 theories and models explaining synthesis of health behavior assessment. And in my opinion, the social cognitive theory is the best theory to explain my client's cognitive behavior and environment during the training to reach the goal, as he is a teenager who has a great confidence or having a great self-efficacy. And this is the central part of social cognitive theory. Self-efficacy is an integrated component of social cognitive theory, which means that somebody has his belief that he can or successfully complete a course of action. In this case, it is very important for client confident in his ability to exercise during the summer months reaching the goal. And now we look at several aspects of self-efficiency in my client. First is exercise efficacy, which is the client has ability to successfully engage in incremental bout of exercise or physical activity. He has understand and he has confidence in doing most of the exercise. Only some problem in the flexibility training, which is he cannot do it very well. The second is barrier efficacy, which may be in the social, personal, or environment. And my client does not have this barrier efficacy. Third one is the scheduling efficacy. It is the ability to plan physical activity or training behavior blended into a daily routine. And the client has no problem in committing his evening time around, he say like 8 o'clock a.m. for summer training program. Last, health behavior efficacy, which is promoting health behavior as a physical activity guidelines for the Americans year 2018. My client personally does not have a problem understanding the promotion of health behavior. Little thing that is that he as a teenager normally just underestimate or thinking that it's not very urgent for him right now. Let's look deeper into the social cognitive theory. Before it was known as social learning theory, proposed by Albert Bandura in 1960, who found it few an individual with emotion personality would have behavior which could be his past or present achievement and are interacting dynamically with the environment he or she has. There are cognitive factors such as knowledge, expectation, and attitude. The behavioral factors such as skill, practice, and self-efficacy. And environment factors such as social norms, access in the community, influence of others, and environment itself. Another important measure to be successful is self-regulation, or we just know it as self-control. People have to have the ability to set their goals, preferably as SMART goals, and then they need to be able to monitor the progress toward the goal, and they need to have ability to solve the problem that arise or maybe carried out from the beginning, and then they need to have reinforcement, either positive or negative, to motivate themselves. And all these measures are working together in directing three factors, which is cognitive, behavioral, and environment toward SMART goals. The client cognitive factor are as follows. He has knowledge because he's a ninth grader of high school, already know physical education class, basic of some exercise and basic of sport. He has expectation realistic in gaining more muscle endurance, especially in the lower body, and his attitude toward learning or toward the exercise is so far good. The behavioral factor that my client has, he has a medium skill. So his sport technique is average. And for practice, since the COVID-19, he rarely practicing physical activities. And now he want to be back. And the confidence he has is still good. His environmental factors, the social norms are obviously social norms of teenager in the United States, and access in the community is limited only to the public parks around the house. We live in the southern Boston, and then we are distance live from a gymnasium or YMCA, and influence come from family and friends, and also sometimes from virtual because he has also the internet access and environment. He has physical environment in the urban community, the city of Boston, and the natural environment is limited. Role of the parents is very important in the success of social cognitive theory. According to a program from CDC, the parent matter. The principles of social learning theory, the predecessor of social cognitive theory, were used. Parents are encouraged to provide environments to support good behavior. Parents also give positive reinforcement to boost competence promoting behavior, and then monitor the children to recognize contact with people with a bad role and try to separate them. And in this case, there are some barriers, just like how to maintain his motivation to be high during all the summer exercise. And then the second is to set aside the energy to exercise in a scheduled manner. Because sometimes teenagers they play out or they are out, and then after that, the afternoon time they already get tired for evening exercise. And then the commitment, how to keep it to provide time in the evening every 8 p.m. Then it is not easy for him to access the teenager gym or YMCA. It's about like 15 minutes walk. And then supporting tools or equipment is also not very complex in his house. Also, he has vary in providing high meals to support muscle endurance. And in June, the hot and humid summer weather make it hard, or sometimes like in the evening, 8 p.m. is still warm. And then the last barrier is that he feels uncomfortable doing some exercise that he's not mastering well, such as flexibility. But he has facilitator something to support him, such like supportive parents and teacher, and nutritional resources from government or the family, and then coach monitoring him close because the coach is in his house. The internet access he has to get every information training related or motivating him, and then also the Uncle Sam support, the government support for your population. And then to achieve the SMART goal, there are two kinds of strategy, the cognitive strategy and behavioral strategy. The cognitive strategy for my clients are enhancing self-efficacy to increase his confidence to be more physically active, related with positive influence, and boost the positive mood states. Goal setting to work with client in a setting individuals SMART both in the short term, which I mean a monthly, or for a kind of long term that actually until the summer training session. Third one is a reinforcement to encourage reward themselves for every advancement, and negative one to punish them with this setback. For my client, maybe Amazon Prime purchase can be a reward, and then if he's doing bad, and then he's supposed to punish himself with additional 10 minutes extra work every day. Self-monitoring to encourage the client to track his position or progress toward goal. For the client, I suggest him to put a reminder on the calendar and set the alarm for 8 o'clock exercise. Then problem solving to help client find a way for his training related program or other personal problem. My client will have access to MS Coach. For any training question, I will tell him about the internet resources he can serve to. And the relapse prevention to prepare the client relapses in his training program and develop a side plan so that he could bounce back again, not relapse. I talked to the client to make sure that he knew about relapses and prepares, but still aim for monthly goals. The behavioral strategy, other than SMART goals for clients, are behavioral capability, which reflect a person's ability to perform behavior by having essential knowledge and skill. Second one is observational learning, to make people able to witness and observe other people's behavior and copy it. It's by modeling behavior. When the client sees a successful demonstration of behavior or habit, he will be able to copy the behavior successfully. The last, social support. Make sure that he is surrounded by people with positive attitude to notice who else can support him socially for physical activity for the sake of training. The conclusion. Here I need to give role model for him as he has an observational learning to look at people. And as parent, make sure that he is far from the bad role models. And I need to learn his behavioral capacity, especially his present skill and the potential knowledge about the exercise. And as a parent and coach, I need to make reinforcement both in a positive way and the negative way to reduce his tendency of bad behavior. And together, we should set the expectation in the form of SMART goals, observing it together, and increase his self-efficacy in all aspects. And that's conclude my presentation. I thank you for watching my explanation and have a good evening.